The candle burned out this week. I opened my eyes and it was gone. And I smiled. Not because it was all figured out, not because the hard part was all over, but because something real had been released. And what came next was not what I expected. You can do all the work and still not get there. Not because you are not disciplined enough, not because you aren't trying hard enough, and not because what you're doing or your method is wrong, but because there's a gap. And most people never name it. Thank you for being here. Corey J. Riggs, This Tree and Me. This is a place where self-leadership gets built through story, reflection, and real conversation. And the laugh method is how we do that. Again, I appreciate everyone being here. If it resonates, please subscribe, share, follow, bring someone along in the conversation. First off, your subscriptions help me so much and help keep the lights on and help keep this conversation going. Second, I hope that we can have more conversations like this and just keep growing together. Again, I appreciate you being here. Now let's get into the episode. So the last episode, we talked about the foundation, the work that nobody sees, building the invisible before it's visible. And if you heard that episode and thought, hey, I feel that, I'm doing the work, I'm building the foundation, I'm showing up every day. So when does it arrive? And that question has a name. It is the gap. And this episode is about what lives in it. Because I have been living in that gap. I have been feeling it. And this week, I finally named what feels it. There is something missing between doing and arriving. And it is not what the motivational world tells you it is. They say, believe it and then do it. They say, visualize it and it will come. Just keep going. It will happen. And all of that is real in its own way. But it is incomplete. Because if doing was enough, everyone who works hard would have what they want. And if once was enough, everyone would have the life they want. And if love was enough, there wouldn't be any broken relationships. So, what is actually missing? It is belief. It is not affirmations, not motivational speeches, not saying I can do this, actual belief built from evidence. And here's what I mean by that. The ego finds little things to stop you. Not big things, not obvious things, little things. Just a convenient distraction right when your momentum starts building. A sudden little doubt right when something starts working. A reason to pause that sounds completely reasonable. And a voice that says, not yet, not now, maybe later. Those are not random. That is the ego looking for any available gap in your belief. And it finds them. Every time belief gets thin, Every time the evidence is not accumulated enough, the ego finds the gap and it fills it with a reason to stop. And how mind shows up, it shows up in many different ways, but in this particular case, I'll be working on something and I'll have great momentum. I'll have great strides going. And all of a sudden, my focus will shift onto something else. Oh, I forgot I need to do that. Hey, I got time. I'll go do that really quick. Or I get up for lunch or I get up for whatever. And then when I get back, oh, you know what? I forgot I needed to do that. So I have all these irons in the fire and none of them get complete. And that's the gap that I get most vulnerable from. Then that doubt starts, see, bud, why haven't you finished that? Look at all the things you have not finished or completed or accomplished. This isn't for you. That path's not for you. This isn't your journey. Maybe we do something else. And it just keeps me in that cycle. There's other things, but that's the big one for me. So, hey, quick cut out. Let's take a quick little break because I want to sit with something before we keep going. The ego does not show up loud, guys. Sometimes it feels and finds the smallest available gap in your belief. And then it fills it with a reason to stop. So what gaps is it finding in yours right now? Because that gap between doing and arriving is filled by one thing: belief. So here's what belief is not. It is not something you think into existence. It is not an affirmation you repeat until it feels true. It is not confidence borrowed from someone else's story. And it is not feeling that you get after a great meditation, a great workout, a great morning. Those things help, but they are not the thing. And there is one thing that is really easy to miss in all of this. The telling of people about what you are building is not belief either. Think about how many times you have started something and you've announced it. Hey guys, I'm starting a podcast. Hey guys, I'm really going to get in shape this time. How about, hey, I'm going to start this new business. I'm on a new path. Whatever it is for you. And you tell them the story. And some of them get excited. And for that brief moment, you feel a sense of belief. But it wasn't. What you are doing is borrowing energy from their reaction. And the moment their reaction fades, the doubt comes back louder than before. Because now you had an audience for something that you had not built yet. And that creates more anxiety than just doing the work quietly. Real belief is not manufactured. Real belief is proven to yourself, by yourself, through an accumulation of evidence that you just cannot argue with. And guys, that's one of the biggest ones for me. Always has been. The story of, hey, look what I'm getting ready to do. Look what I'm getting ready to build. Look what I'm getting ready to try. And over time, you tell these stories so much, and they may be the same, they may be different. But I found I didn't believe them, so I had to gas them up a little bit. Then if you tell the same people, they start hearing the same thing, and they're like, they go along with you. Hey, good for you, good luck, blah, 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 right? Do they believe it? So you gas it up and get a bit more. That story, one, it's not authentic, and they can feel it and you can feel it because you haven't built it yet. You can't tell a story from a place of hope, wish, and dreams. You tell the story from the place of a foundation that has been built and evidence. Then you can actually tell the details of the story, and it's different. But you don't need to tell the story. The story will tell itself. Hey, another quick break here, really quick. So hold on here. Let's step outside the episode and let's try to bring this home a little bit. Where in your life are you performing belief instead of building it? And where are you telling the story of something you have not built yet? Belief is not manufactured. Belief is proven. So how do you build it? Not by thinking about it, not by listening to someone else tell you that you can, and not by announcing to the people around you. You build it by looking back. Where were you a month ago? 3 months ago? A year? 3 years? That distance, that is your evidence. That evidence is the foundation of your belief. The bricks that you have already laid. They tell you that you are capable of laying more. But here's the trap. This trap will get you if you don't watch for it. You can't only look back. Because if all you do is look back, you start to feel like you've already made it. That you can coast a little bit. You get a little content in your life. That the hard part is behind you. Like the destination is actually closer than it is. And that is the ego. That is the ego using your progress against you. You look back to build belief and you look forward to remember that you have not arrived. The bricks that you have already laid tell you that you can build. The wall that's standing in front of you is telling you that the work is not done. And both are required. The look back gives you belief. The look forward gives you direction. Without both, you either quit or you coast. And neither of those get you there. So I'm going to use the most recent one. I have had a couple of hard days from a sad a mourning, M-O-U-R, mourning, of losing parts of my life. And the most recent is, so if you've been following, I'm on a purge of my life and I'm getting ready to make a big leap. So I'm getting rid of everything. And it started with the candles. As I stated at the first, the last one finally went out. It was all the ceremonial candles of all the ceremonial retreats and everything that I've done throughout this journey. So they're out and they're gone. And that next morning, I was expecting a little bit more uplifting and, right, little dancey happiness. And I was just sad. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't understand what it was feeling inside. And then after a couple of days of that, it hit me, and I had a very good conversation with the ego inside me, and found out that kind of what the whole morning of the sadness was about. But I started journaling, and I started saying, but you know what? I made sure I got up every morning. I made sure I meditated. I made sure I journaled. I was eating right. I exercised. I did. And then it hit me. Just looking back less than a week ago, showed me in hard times, in down times, where my ego is telling me you're not getting it done. You're not having any momentum. Look, you're sitting around wasting the day away. Sometimes just hanging on and getting enough done is enough. That's success. That's success. And it just hit me. That's why you reflect. And I've recognized this over and over, but that one really hit me. So, yes, do I have a long way to go? Absolutely. But simple lookbacks and simple reflections can absolutely build the belief of even when you're down, you can get things accomplished and you can keep laying those bricks. Because that look back is the belief, and the look forward is the direction. You have not arrived. You've got to keep building. So, this is another piece that landed for me doing all this work here this week. And it changed how I understand what the foundation work is actually for. So, my foundation: meditation, journaling, the laugh method, the work, the practice, the self leadership work, all of it. And most of us build the foundation and we believe that the foundation is the path to the destination. It is not. The foundation is building belief, and the belief is what gets you to the destination. That is a different understanding of what the work is for. Again, most of us do the foundation work and we wait for the result. The result is not next. The belief is next. And then that belief produces the capacity to continue. That continuation produces more evidence, and that evidence builds more belief. And that belief eventually produces the result. That is a complete sequence. Foundation builds evidence. Evidence builds belief. Belief builds capacity to continue. Continuation builds more evidence. That loop is the entire thing. And here's how I know this is true. So there's a part inside of me that was fighting all this work because he's not the one leading. He wanted proof, demanded proof before he would settle in and go along with it and quit fighting me on it. And that part's restless. It's resistant for weeks, just started really fighting me a bit. Always using the ego to throw me off. And that always, he always wanted to see evidence before he'd believe. And this week, literally these last 7 days, that part in meditation got quiet, was present, no longer fighting. And not because something loudly and just shifted and was obvious, because the evidence was accumulating, and it accumulated enough that the belief had nothing to stand on, had something to stand on, excuse me. He had nothing to stand on. The belief was there. The evidence was there. So that part of me is the adult part. Once I got married and had kids and was, building a career and doing all this, goes into the job, shows what he can do, right? Gets the promotion, gets the raises, keeps jumping the ladder, does it at every company that he goes to. Different conversation about him continuing that work and following through. But he built it. He knew how to do it. He knew what it looked like. He's not leading this one. This wasn't his path. What are we doing? I don't see any evidence. I don't feel any different. I don't see anything that I'm gaining. I don't see the rewards. Where's the raise? Where's the money? Where's the title? Where's the recognition? But over time, the happiness, the love, the contentment, and the conviction in what I'm trying to accomplish, the goals that I'm setting and making strides to get to those goals, the evidence is building. He had no longer anything to do but believe. Hey, once again, let's take a quick break. This one really hits home for me, and I really want this one to land before we move on. The foundation work is not building toward your goal. It is building the belief that you can reach it. The goal comes after the belief, not before. The foundation builds belief. The belief builds everything else. So one more thing worth naming here, because this is where most of us fail. And again, it happens quietly. As soon as you skip the foundation, as soon as you go away from the things that built even the smallest glimpse of belief, the belief starts to die. Not all at once, not loudly, quietly. The morning routine may slip a little bit. The practice gets put on the back shelf here and there. The reflection stops happening. And then you notice that gap is back. The doubt is getting louder. The ego finds the gap again. And most people look at that and think something is wrong, something broke, I must have lost it, and I'm back at the start. That's not what happened. It's a signal. It's just a signal if you look at it to return to the foundation because it needs attention. Not punishment, not shame, not a grand recommitment. Just return to the foundation with the same discipline and compassion that you would give anyone that you love and that you're leading. Because that is self-leadership. Leading yourself back to the foundation when the belief starts to thin out. Without making it mean something catastrophic, just without the story of failure attached to it. Simply the foundation needs attention. Go give it attention. That is the whole instruction. And I find it in a lot of my different ways, but a lot of my work, grounding's one. If I don't go visit the tree, this podcast is called This Tree and Me for a reason. There's a tree that I go ground with. It's a whole story. Or when I'm getting busy, I find just little things that maybe I don't take my 5-minute break here and there to just go get in some quiet, meditate for 5 minutes just to stop all the noise. Little things like that. And I can find justifications to get beyond it. And then all of a sudden the day escapes me and I didn't get this done, or I end up at a coffee shop hanging out and not doing any work, whatever it is. If I don't return to the foundation and stay structured to it, it doesn't happen all at once, little by little. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, where am I? What am I doing? Why can't I get back into this? So one more step out. The belief does not appear all at once. The disbelief does not appear all at once. It erodes quietly. And the foundation is what stops the erosion. When that doubt gets louder, that is not failure. That is the signal to return. Listen to it and return to your foundation. As soon as you skip the foundation, the belief starts to die. So return to it. That is self-leadership. So I asked myself something this week that I want you to ask yourself. After I'm done with this, hit pause for 30 seconds, come back in. I'd love to hear your comments on this as well. And be honest with yourself. It's a tough one. So, if you had everything you're working toward, everything handed to you right now, all of it, whatever the version is for you, money, title, relationship, fitness, pick one, pick all, handed to you right now, what would change? Not what would you buy, not where or how would you live. Would you still do the hard things? Would you still show up for the work that nobody sees? Would you still go do the things that scare you? And would you stay true and still build the foundation? Because the honest answer for most of us is no. The having of it would make it easier to bypass the becoming. And the bypass is the problem. Because here's the truth. You are not building toward the goal. You are building toward the person the goal requires you to become. The goal is the evidence the becoming is complete, not the other way around. And when I sat with that, I sat with it honestly this week. And what came back when I asked myself all these questions was not the goal, the money, the business, the reach, none of that. What came back was much simpler than that. Family, the people I love, a life shared with people who matter. That is what all of this was always for. And the love does not come from the achievement. The love comes from giving yourself everything you need first. Then naturally, you have something real to give. So for me, when I sat with that question, I was sitting there thinking about a lot of different things, and this leap that I'm getting ready to take, it's got me twisted in a lot of different ways. I feel good and comfortable, and I know this is what I need to do, but it's still scary. So it hit me, and I just picked money. If someone came and gave you $100 million right now, Corey, sat it in your lap, no expectations, no strings tied to it. It's yours. Do with what you will. keep it. What would you do? Would you still wake up at 4 in the morning? Would you still do all the meditation and journaling? Would you still work out? A lot of that was 4 a.m. because of question mark, but a lot of that was, yeah, absolutely. Because that's built, I still want to be a spiritual person, this and that. Where it caught me. Okay, what about the hard things? What about standing up in front of people and telling your story? What about teaching the lessons, teaching the method? What about the hard things that you're scared of doing right now? What about the things that are holding you back a little bit? That was where the honesty had to come out. And it was like, yeah, maybe it would give me a little bit of a delay because I have a different life now with monetarily. So would I still do those things, or would I be able to set them aside and say, you know what, I'll get to it? And then just like everything else, that gap opens up and then eventually they go away. And that's where it came to, okay, so if it's not the money that you're looking for, the reward, that's not your achievement level. Yes, it would be phenomenal. Then what is it? It was one simple word, love. I want more love in my life, more love for myself, more love for others, to share my life with somebody, family, friends, and to share that with everybody that I can and try to give that to everybody that I can. That's why I'm doing this. That's the whole purpose and everything behind this. Yeah, that money was great, but if it's going to stop me from doing what I need to do, it's not worth it. It's not the money that I want. It's not the reach. It's not the aesthetic, monetary, or gains of the human, right? The house, the car, the wife, the this, the that. No, it's much simpler than that. It's love, man. It was so clear in that moment to me. So as I do these episodes, I always like to share truths that came to me during the research, during the work, during the writing. So I want to share them with you. So again, the truth. I'm not behind. You are not failing. You are not doing it wrong. But if you are doing all the work and you still feel like a gap is there, this is why. You have not accumulated enough evidence to build that belief that what you are envisioning is achievable by you specifically. The belief does not arrive on its own. It does not come from motivation. It does not come from someone else telling you that you can, and it does not come from announcing what you are building. It comes from you proving it to yourself. One day at a time, one hard morning at a time, one milestone crossed at a time, one brick laid at a time. Look back at the evidence. Look forward at that destination and keep laying the bricks. Keep returning to the foundation when the belief gets thin. And when you get there, what you will find is not achievement. What you will find is what you were always building it for. The love, the people, the life shared with the ones who matter. Give that to yourself first. The belief is being built right now. And the belief is what will get you there. So now, as we come to the end of the podcast, the episode, I want you to sit with a few reflection points that I brought out here. Something we do at the end of every episode, the truth, then the reflection. So, where in your life are you waiting for belief instead of building it? What evidence do you already have that you are not using? Where are you telling the story instead of doing the work? And if you had everything you were working toward handed to you right now, would you still do the hard things that it was going to take to get there? And what does giving yourself everything you need first actually look like in your life today? The love, the happiness, the joy, the belief, the courage, the strength, the grace, the empathy. What does giving all of that to yourself first look like in your life today? Belief is built. It's not given. So build it. And just keep building. Again, thank you so much for being here. I hope this resonated. If it does, please check if you subscribed. If you haven't, please hit that little button down there. Share, like, comment, bring others along for this journey. Love what we're building here together. It means a lot to me. And your time and your presence and your engagement means more to me than I can actually express in words. You are the leader that this work is building. Keep showing up for yourself. Everything else will follow. This is This Tree and Me. I am Corey J. Riggs. I love you all. Be blessed.